500 toes to bar at 57. So here we go, I got started. I'm not sure why I decided to do this, to do 500 toes to bar. I'm not exactly sure, but I did decide what I figured I would do is my plan was to just keep doing sets of 10. And I figured if I did 50 sets, that would give me 500. Now, probably my biggest mistake when I was doing this was that I worked out first. I don't know why. I should have just done it fresh. But I knew if I did it first, I would have been too fatigued to do my regular workout. I had a shoulder workout to do. So I actually did my shoulder workout before we did the 500 toes to bar. So that really wasn't a great idea because I was already pretty fatigued in my shoulders. And all the hanging puts a lot of it's pretty fatiguing on your shoulders to hang that much to do the toes to bar. But anyways, maybe next time I won't work out first. But anyways, the game plan was to keep doing sets of 10 the best I could. Obviously, my pace was dropping off as I went through the 50 sets. But I started off trying to go, at as best of a clip as I could. Now, it's funny when you're doing something like this. It's a big mind game, Like I knew that I was doing 500. Like there was no doubt in my mind when I started, and there was no way once I decided to do it, there was no way I wasn't going to do it. But you start playing these mind games, and even right at the beginning here, you're watching. This is only my second set. I was already playing mind games with myself, going, well, I'll just do 100, like I'm just going to get to 100 and then, that's plenty, and I know I'm not going to stop, but I'm just telling myself like that, setting like these little goals, I guess. So I was just like, I'll just do 100, So whatever it took to just kind of get through, because it gets, when you're starting off and you're doing 500, when you're only at 20 or 30 reps, it's kind of mentally a little tough, So, anyways, I was just, trying to be steady, just 10 at a time. I don't wear grips. I was a gymnast for a long time. I used to wear grips, obviously, when I did gymnastics. But, my hands are used to a lot of the, like wear and tear, even now these days. And I still do a lot of hanging type of stuff, chin-ups and pull-ups and toes to bar. So I generally never wear grips anymore. I mean, like I said, I used to wear them to swing high bar and do rings because you need them for gymnastics. But I don't wear grips. But we did use, I was using a lot of chalk, make sure I had a good grip. The toughest part of doing this, actually, you would think it's on the stomach and the abs, but one of the toughest part of doing a lot of toes to bar is actually the grip. Your hands and your grip start to really fatigue. And that's one of the toughest parts of this. So right here, I was coming up on my first 100. So what are we at? Like about 11 minutes, 30 seconds for the first 100 or so. At that point, I still felt good. Hands, felt pretty good. I think I give a little hand check here into the camera. But the hands actually felt pretty good. They weren't even, as you can see, I got a lot of calluses in my hands from doing a lot of this type of work, but it wasn't, my hands felt good at this point. It was only 100. And so once again, like I said, that was my first kind of mini goal that I was like, I'll just do 100. So then I'm at this point where it's like I'm 13 minutes in or so, and now I'm playing again with my head going, oh, what I'll do is I'll just do them for 30 minutes, and I'll do as many as I can for 30 minutes, and that'll be the video, Like I said, and all the while, I know I'm not stopping. I mean, I already set it in my head, and I already set the goal. I'm doing 500, and I know I'm going to do 500. But you play mind games, and you start saying, "Oh, okay, I'll just do 30 minutes now." So I was just trying to get to that 30-minute mark. I was still going pretty steady, pretty good pace at this point. I felt good. Like I said, if anything, my shoulders were a little fatigued because I did make the mistake of, I worked out for probably almost an hour on shoulders right before this. So it was kind of a long day too. Doing the workout first and then doing the toes to bar. So anyways, I just tried to keep cranking along, keeping my mind focused on the goal at hand. I'm 22 minutes or so into it at this point, and I was still feeling good at this point. My hands felt good, my grip still felt good. I wasn't really having any trouble. I wanted to keep all the sets at 10s. I didn't want to start doing sets of 8 or sets of 5. 10 for me for doing toes to bar is a very comfortable set. It's a very comfortable number because I can do quite a few in a row. And so to do just sets of 10 is a good set for me to, like, if I'm doing like an endurance situation like this where I'm doing 500, to keep doing sets of 10 is a good working set so that I can keep going here. I think we're up on 200 here. So what was that? At about 26 minutes in, we were at about 200 toes to bar, and I think I do another hand check for the camera. Hands were still, they might look pretty bad and pretty calloused up, but they actually felt pretty good still at that point. I really wasn't having any pain. My grip still felt good. It really wasn't an issue. And once again, I'm kind of coming up on that other little mini goal I set of 30 minutes when I was kind of playing around in my head saying, oh, I'll just do 30 minutes or whatever. And so now at this point, I'm at 30 minutes. I'm over 200. So now my next mind game that I'm playing to keep my sanity is I start thinking, oh, you know what I'll do on this video? I'm just going to do an hour's worth of toes to bar, and the video will be how many toes to bar can I do in 1 hour. And once again, it was just a mind game because I knew I was going to do 500 when I set my mind to something, and I set that goal for that day was to do 500. I knew I wasn't going to stop at an hour, but it was just a way to get through. You got to play mind games with yourself. You got to stay focused. I was just trying to just stay focused on the task at hand. Just 10, 10, 10. Everything was in sets of 10, and just trying to, concentrate on that and really not think of much other stuff, because it's like the worst part is just the time. You're there. You're whatever I'm at here, 200 something toes to bar. You're doing 500. I mean, it's just mentally, it's a little tough. So, I'm all alone. No one's cheering me on here. I'm just in my back of my office where I have my workout gear. So, anyways, I was probably, we're 40 minutes in. I'm sure I was feeling, this was probably around the time I was definitely feeling the fatigue a little bit. I was definitely slowing up on my pace at this point. I certainly weren't banging out the sets of 10 as quickly as I was at the beginning. And so I think right here around, 43 minutes, this was when I hit 300. So we had about 300 at that point, and I was definitely feeling it. I mean, now I'm getting to the point where I'm past the halfway mark, so mentally I felt good, but physically I was starting to fatigue a little bit. But the hands were holding up. I think I do a little hand check. I was doing hand checks at about 100 every 100. So, the calluses were holding up fine. Felt good. So, like I said, I'm past the halfway. I'm at 300. I know I know there's no way. I know I'm making the 500 no matter what. And at this point, when once you get past the halfway mark, you feel good mentally. You're like, yeah, I got this. I knew I had this. And I at a certain point around this point, I was actually starting to debate, should I start doing sets of 12 or something like that just to get to the 500 a little quicker. And I didn't want to vary from my game plan. My game plan was to do 50 sets of 10. And, I didn't want to start, even though I was, mentally I felt good at this point because I knew, I was going to get to 500. And I started debating maybe I should do sets of 12. And I was like, you know what, let's just stick to the game plan. The game plan was to do the sets of 10 because I knew that would be comfortable sets to do, and I knew that was the best way to do this. So, anyways, so I think we're at 53 minutes. So I think we're close to about 400 now. I'm not sure when I forget when I hit the 400 mark. I think, if if I wasn't mistaken, I don't think I got the 400 in under an hour. In under an hour, I think it was right past the hour mark that I actually hit 400. I don't really remember, but it was around there. I do another hand check. It was around the 400 mark though. That's when my grip was starting to fatigue. You know, like all that hanging really was taking its toll. It wasn't necessarily on my hands as much as just my grip. My forearms were starting to get fatigued, and by the end of each set of 10, I was actually having a little trouble hanging on to the bar. See, I think it's here. So we're at 62 minutes, and I think this is the set where we hit 400. So I actually hit 400 around 63 minutes. I think this is 400 right here. So it took me about 63 minutes. Like I said, I was definitely slowing down on my sets. Yep, 400. So I was definitely I was getting a little worried about the grip part of it, because you know, obviously I didn't want to come peeling off the bar, although that would make some good video footage if Dr. Joe ripped off the bar and landed on his head. I'm sure that would go viral. Here we go. I think I have taking a little drink here. But there was definitely fatigue here, and like I said, most of the fatigue involved the grip, the forearms. The hands actually felt pretty good. They were a little, you know, getting a little hot, but I was okay. You know, I wasn't really worried about the hands as much as I was just like the actual strength of the grip. Little protein shake. Now it's time to get serious. Last 100. Now we pick back up. So I gotta admit, the last 100 was not a lot of fun. I was having trouble hanging on. I was afraid I was gonna peel off. By the time I was doing like my 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th rep, I could feel I just was having trouble holding on to the bar. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, I was just kind of wrapping my thumb around my index finger and just making sure I was hanging on for dear life. I did not want to come flying off the bar onto my head. And then to add to the problem I was having with the grip, the strength, you know, the holding on, it was around this time that I actually ended up ripping. That's what we call it in gymnastics, when the blister rips open. I actually get a rip around, I don't know, I think it was around 450 reps. The hand actually ripped, which was just made the whole matter worse, because I was already having trouble, like I said, hanging on, and then I end up ripping, and now and I can deal with the pain. It's no big deal. I mean, the rip is just a little pain. I mean, you just shut that off when you're at this point. I don't care about the pain of it, but I was already having trouble with just the fatigue. So I think it's right here. So I'm not sure where we're at, but so about 76, 77 minutes in, the hands, you know, because I wasn't wearing grips, one of my calluses ripped, and it started to bleed a little bit. I think I show it right here. Let's see. I think this is about 77 minutes in. Yeah, so there it was on my left hand. So that ripped, that callus got ripped off. And like I said, I put a little tape on it for a couple sets. It didn't really help. Pain wasn't an issue. I mean, it hurts, but like I said, at this point, you're just shutting it off. I mean, you're on. I'm on auto drive here. Nothing, you know, nothing was gonna get in the way of finishing it. The pain was no problem, but I was, like I said, it didn't help the fact that I was already fatigued out, having trouble holding onto the bar. So what are we? 81 minutes in. I took the tape off. It was just in my way. Like I said, it wasn't helping anything. You know, when you get a rip, you just deal with it. And we're coming towards the end here. So what are we? We're 80. Well, I almost made it through all 500 without ripping, but I ripped like the last 3 or 4 sets ago. My goal is to get through all 500 reps without ripping my hands. That was my goal, but didn't quite work. Yeah, it was funny when I think I just said that my goal was to, I wanted to, I was thinking, well, I want to do the 500. I wanted to get through it without ripping, and I almost did. So, like I said, I think it was around 450 that the hand actually went. But I think this is the very end here. So we're at 84 minutes. Like I said, my pace dropped off, which is, I figured it was going to drop off. I wasn't going to keep the same pace going, but, we're finishing up the 500 here. I think I stopped for a second. I was having a little grip trouble, and then I did a couple extra reps after. So I technically did 502, but I threw a couple reps in there, a couple extra reps. I figured in case one or two of my reps of my 500 reps were not like good reps, I threw a couple extra in just to get a couple extra reps in. So what did it take me? About 85, a little over 85 minutes. So not too bad for 500. I threw in a couple extra there in case I did a couple lousy reps during the 500. I threw a couple extra in at the end to make up for if I had a couple bad reps during the set. 500, no grips, went barehanded on it. Held up pretty good, So I hope you enjoyed that video. I know we do a lot of videos on, fast release work and stretches and exercise, but once in a while I like to have a little fun like we did today and just do something crazy. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, appreciate a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm to get this video out there and get it seen. So if you kind of enjoyed watching an old 57-year-old guy doing 500 toes to bar, give it a thumbs up. If you've been enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel, OcraMed Health on YouTube. Questions about exercises or injuries, just leave a comment in the comments section below. I do the best I can to get back to everybody. And don't forget, OcraMed Health is here to keep you fit forever.